We're staging for another half hour of nitro-fueled NHRA talk. It's The Straight Line, presented by O'Reilly Auto Parts with Marty Huff and 10-time NHRA winner Doug Herbert. Brought to you by Hercules Tires. Now, here's your hosts, Doug and Marty.
This is The Straight Line on Drag Racing. Thanks for being here for our half hour of horsepower. Appreciate you being with us. Matt Hagan put himself back into the funny car title hunt with a win at Dallas. We'll talk to the two-time champion. We're in the beams and set to launch another edition of The Straight Line. Wherever you may be, coast to coast around the world, this is The Straight Line on Drag Racing at mrn.com. Along with four-time IHRA Top Fuel champion and 10-time NHRA National Event winner Doug Herbert, I am Marty Huff. We will talk soon to a championship contender, that being Matt Hagan, as he wins at Dallas, puts himself back into the title hunt. But my question for you, and we'll start this off, headed to Las Vegas, second to the last race of the season. For the teams that are not in title contention, which is going to be most of them, I mean, there's just a very few. What are your objectives going into these last two events if you're not in title contention?
I mean, at this point, you're fighting a little bit for position, but mostly you're looking at next year. Okay, you know what? We're not going to win this year. Let's do the best we can, but is there some things we can try right now that will help us better prepare for next year? I think that's what most of them are looking for. I mean, it wouldn't be the end of the world for some of the teams that are not in contention to maybe even, make crew changes, make crew chief changes, make parts changes. At this point, I mean, the difference between being third or fourth and being ninth or seventh is like, it doesn't really matter much.
Yeah, I mean, there's maybe a little bit into the payout,
but
not. But it's probably not going to be enough to really notice.
Right.
Then when on top of everything else, we're headed to Las Vegas, and we talk about this about twice a year, because we race at Las Vegas twice a year.
Yeah.
But the setup at Las Vegas is not your average setup. You're just not going to go into Las Vegas with your Dallas setup, because there's some unique issues that happen at Las Vegas that we don't see anywhere else.
Well, yeah, Vegas has some altitude with it. There's also it's dry, it's desert there, so it's probably a little bit of a mix between Denver, Bristol. Somewhere in between there is your Vegas setup. So Vegas is a little bit of a different deal, and you've got a Vegas setup. So the guys that have done well at Vegas in the past, the crew chiefs that have done well at Vegas in the past, for what it is always one of those tracks that the guys that do well there seem to always do well there, whether it's Pro Stock, Top Fuel, Funny Car, whatever. Pro Stock, particularly, like the KB guys have been pretty dominant. Last year, Eric Enders was pretty dominant, but in general, over the last 10 years, KB guys have been pretty dominant.
And that altitude is probably going to affect the naturally aspirated cars, or the pro stock cars, because they're not naturally aspirated, so to speak. But they're going to be affected a little bit more than
performance numbers wise. But at the end of the day, there's more. Well, I don't know this because I don't know this for a fact, but I think there's more changes that are done to a Top Fuel car. I mean, I don't know what you do to a Pro Stock car. I mean, you change some carburetor jets, you change some gears, changes that. Where Top Fuel car, it's like, you got 150 things to change. So
wow,
maybe 151 things. There's a lot. There's a lot of things to change.
Yeah, right.
To get that setup right. From coming from Dallas, there's some changing. I mean, it's not just this is going to change the compression ratio a little bit, which is part of it. But there's a lot of things change. You change the compression ratio. You change your your clutch setup a little bit. You change your supercharger overdrive a little bit. Well, then your cylinders mix up a little bit different. There's just there's every change you make, you've got to do something else to compensate for that change. So it's a little bit of a deal, but. Looking at the list, I mean, Antron Brown, as far as our points go, he's I mean, I think it's a one-car race. I mean, I wish Doug Coletta could catch him, but the chance of that happening is Antron not going to show up at Vegas. I guess that would be
because
the
Doug
question.
and Connie would have to have him kidnapped, at the hotel or or something like that. Not that they would do that, but I mean that's the only way that Antron's not going to win the championship.
Pretty much,
yeah.
So and same in funny car, same thing. You've got Caps in the points lead, but Caps has been. He's been pretty. I don't know if dominant is right, but he's been very good at Vegas for years. But so a couple other guys. But I don't know. You get Ron Tobler backed into the corner, and I'd say, I'd rather be in Ron Cap's position than I would in Tommy Johnson or Matt Hagan's.
Yeah.
But that's not nearly as comfortable of a lead as
Antron is. Yeah, that's exactly right. And so it's one of the things that we will talk to Matt Hagan about is playing offense rather than defense, because he's been on both sides of the situation.
Right.
He's been one of the guys that was at the top of the heap in the last couple of races and having to play kind of defense. And right now they have nothing to lose, but to
back
just
to
go for
Caps, who was crew chief for Doug Coletta's car when they got the championship, whipped out from under him? Ron Tobler. Ron Tobler, the crew chief for Ron Caps now. So Tobler knows what he's up against, and trust me, Tobler hasn't forgot about that.
No,
I know Tobler. Tobler's a good guy, and Tobler's tough.
Yeah.
He still hasn't got over that. That was a long time ago. Yeah. He hasn't got over it. I got a feeling you're going to see Cap's car be really tough these next couple races. I think there's going to be, not that there hasn't been everything they have into it, but they're going to find, Tobler's going to find a little bit more to pull out, I think. Knowing Tobler, he's a sharp cookie. Nothing against, the crew chiefs for TJ or John Collins or Dickie Venables, because they're both top of notch too. But, I don't know. That's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, it's gonna be really interesting. Let me ask you this: if you're one of those non-championship teams and one of those non-championship drivers that we were talking about, and you draw one of those championship contenders, say first round on Sunday, do you race that guy or gal any differently than you would, on a middle of the year?
No, I don't think so. And I think it comes back to how your car's running at the time. If they're running better than you, then maybe you go up there and take a chance at it because you just take a shot and maybe it's going to work, maybe it's not. But I don't think there's probably going to be much of a difference there. Anybody that's not in the championship contention that has a chance to punch out the points leader, trust me, they're going to want to do that though.
Yeah.
But then it comes back down to, why has John Force won so many times? Because people go up there and make a mistake against him because he's the 15-time champ,
Yeah.
So it kind of comes back to that. Do you go up there and do something different if you're not in contention just because you want to beat them? Nah, probably not. You need to go up there and run your race.
Right.
Do what you can.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to go in and double bulb somebody or or something like that.
No, I don't think so. No. Now the two, maybe two of the points guys, even though they're competitors, they go up there for the final round or any round, and you know what? Go in there, roll it in a little deep, do whatever you got to do, because beating that guy is a 40-point swing. You get 20 and they don't get 20. So it's not just 20 winning, it's you're keeping them from getting 20. That's a large swing when you're only talking about, TJ and Hagan being a few rounds back. They're not far back.
Right, yeah. And that's why the final round at Dallas was so important to Matt Hagan, because it kept him in championship contention. As a matter of fact,
when he was up on the wheel.
He was, and no question about that. And we will talk to the Dallas winner, Matt Hagan, right after this.
You're listening to The Straight Line, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. More right after this.
O'Reilly. Improve visibility when you replace your worn wiper blades with Bosch Icon or Trico Force wiper blades during O'Reilly Auto Parts See Better, Drive Safer sale. Plus, get a $15 O'Reilly gift card after mail-in rebate. Get premium blades with Bosch or Trico wiper blades at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. Business is a lot like racing. It takes a strong team of pros to succeed. That's why Freightliner Trucks created TeamRunSmart.com, a free online community that connects owner-operators with the trucking industry's A-team. The Team Run Smart pros and coaches help maximize your profitability with real-world advice on everything from fuel-efficient speccing to healthy eating to filing taxes. Sign up today to earn rewards and connect with fellow truckers at TeamRunSmart.com.
There's a place where time stands still, but the clock always ticks. A place where the roots begin.
The heartland of stock car racing.
But the tree is still growing.
Green flag. It is out. Joey Logano on the quick.
It's Martinsville Speedway.
Yes, boys.
NASCAR Sprint Cup Series races back to the Half Mile of Mayhem October 30th for the Goodies Fast Relief 500. Tickets are on sale now. Call 877-RACE-TICKS or visit martinsvillespeedway.com to purchase yours.
You're listening to The Straight Line, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Now it's back to Marty Huff and Doug Herbert.
Thanks for being with us today on the Straight Line, and on the telephone line with us right now is the driver, well, at least at Dallas, he was the driver of the Pennzoil Dodge Funny Car for Don Schumacher Racing and winner of the Funny Car category. Matt Hagan joins us. Matt, thanks for your time. We really appreciate it. Congratulations on the win.
Hey, thanks for having me on the show, guys. It's always a pleasure to be on with y'all. It's kind of cool to listen to y'all talk off the air. You know, just how much y'all really are into drag racing and following it, and you know, it's neat to sit back and listen a little bit.
Well, we know we like drag racing a little bit, Matt. You know, just a little. Hey, what an incredible weekend you guys had here last week, and going up. You know, the car ran great. You had lane choice going in the semis, and then pulling up there and digging down deep, man, and whipping caps on a hole shot. What a deal.
Man, I tell you, it's what we needed to have, but we needed to have that back in Reading. You know, Reading was such a crazy race for us. I mean, the first two races, you know, basically we got outran by the quickest car of the round in the second round, and we just happened to be second quick. I mean, we've had a great race car all season long, and won some races, won the nationals, and come into the countdown with a really fast race car. We just didn't have the right draws at the right time. Sometimes it's all about the right place, right time kind of deal. And we just missed it a little bit on the first couple of races. But then we started going some rounds in Reading, and you know, Reading was crazy for me because my wife went into labor Saturday. We qualified number one, went into labor Saturday. As soon as I got off out of the racetrack, she says, "Hey, you need to get home." So fly home and get there. Her water breaks at 12 o'clock, and the doctor says, "Hey, we're going to be out of here by 2." I said, "I'll be in bed and then back up again at 6 and back to the racetrack to drive a race car." Well, that turned into about 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, and she's still pushing. And so up all night. My wife has my son about 6:20 that morning. And I hold him for about 10 minutes and jump back on a plane, and then start racing again. Haven't been to sleep yet, you know. So go to the semis, and we face Caps in the semis, which is the points leader. You know, the guy that you got to beat. It's a 40-round swing, and he drilled me on the tree. You know, no excuses. It fell on me. You know, it's one of those deals where you know, whether I've been to sleep or not, and all that we got going on. You know, my guys there at the racetrack, they don't want to hear any of that. They just want results, you know. So I really, really felt like I let my team down, you know, in Reading, being able, you know, to have that opportunity to run Caps and, you know, and really put him on the trailer. And, I mean, we ran identical ETs, and he left on me by 2 hun, you know. So
did you say, "Hey, I was in labor all night last night. Give me a break"?
Yeah, well, the wind light doesn't care, you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, it just it fell on me and on my shoulders. So, you know, coming into Dallas, you know, I knew that we had to kind of make some ground. I knew we had to be focused, and I knew we were going to have a good race car. I mean, Dickie Venables always does a really good job, and he's focused, and this is his life, you know. So, I mean, he doesn't go home to kids and a wife and all that other stuff. He goes home to a computer and looks at data and runs, you know what I mean? So it just is one of those deals where, I mean, he's got a girlfriend, she's a wonderful lady, but he's focused on that race car, you know what I mean? And that's it, you know what I mean? So I knew we were going to have a good race car in Dallas. We qualified decent, and the car started running well, started going rounds. And, you know, we got a little break against Courtney second round. I think, you know, I went up there she's getting like John a little bit where she doesn't want to stage first. And, you know, it's just one of those deals where I don't know what's taking her so long. I mean, she's a good driver. It's just maybe she's just getting in a routine of going in last or whatever. But I already made up my mind. I said she's going to stage first, and that's just the way it's going to be. And
I've never done that before.
right.
Right.
So anyway, I was just sitting up there waiting, and then she went in, I went in, and then she took off and red lit. So I don't know exactly what happened. I mean, I've definitely been there too, where your foot says go, but the tree says no, and but it worked out to our advantage. No matter what happened, we were able to get around that, which was she's a tough car. And then
sure.
Robert, I mean, we had a tough race right there. I mean, it was a pretty close race, and then you get right down to where Caps is, and that's where that moment comes back where I didn't want to walk back to my trailer and look at my guy's face again and see how disappointed they were. So, you really, really got to dig deep, and you got to get your adrenaline going, and you got to just be up on the wheel. And and I was lucky enough to where I felt like I put it out there and it worked out, and we were able to beat him on a hole shot. And whether we were both in the finals, but we both had the same 60 foot, and it just happened that my reaction time was a little better. So it's just one of those deals. But at the end of the day, all that really matters is that the win light came on, and Caps is one of those guys that I have so much respect for. I mean, he took me under his wing when nobody else was. When I was first year out here 9 years ago, he was the only one that picked up the phone and was like, "Hey kid, I know you're new, you don't know anybody. Come hang out with me, eat dinner with my family." Just a good dude,
Mm-hmm.
And so as much as you hate racing the guy, but it's one of those deals. It's our job to do turn on the win light, and Caps is a champion. He just he's had some bad luck along the way. I mean, that guy's one of those typical scenarios that you just had a black cloud hanging over him his whole career, so to speak. He's done everything right a lot of times, and the car just weren't there. And so he knows how to win. He knows how to win championships. He's just got to have a little luck, and but we really.
Well, you're not going to take that away from the poor guy, right?
Well, I'm telling you, that's part of it, man.
You're making me feel sorry for him just sitting here talking.
Yeah, but I've been on the other side of that too, where
right.
You're so close, and then I finished second twice, and you feel like someone's ripped your heart out and run over it. So, I definitely understand the emotions and the ups and the downs, and and it took me a while to kind of grasp it and deal with it, and I had to grow as a person. I had to grow, from being I guess what you would call an immature young man into what I feel like is a seasoned driver now, and can deal with some of that stuff. But it doesn't happen overnight. The emotions are huge. The adrenaline's huge. It's a adrenaline-driven sport and very emotional, and they stick a microphone in your face right after you get done running, whether you win or lose. And you got to say, in today's world, you have to be politically correct a little bit, So, but my problem is I say what I'm feeling, and sometimes I don't always go over the best way. But but I think most people out there, they want you to be real, and they want to see how bad it hurts or how great it feels, And that's the only way I know how to do is sell what I'm feeling, And right now we got a little bit of a shot at this thing. I don't know, we're 88 back with 2 races to go, and it's a long shot. It's a shot. I mean, there's been crazier things happen, but I think we're still in this thing, and if we, not wishing bad on nobody, but if they mess up and we're doing what we're supposed to and we're there today, we'll be able to do that. You know what I mean? If we're having a good race and got a good car, and I don't do nothing stupid out there, then hopefully we'll be right where we need to if they mess up.
Qualifying points are going to be huge this weekend because obviously, as you mentioned, 88 back. At 80 points, I mean, that just puts you 4 rounds back, and that puts you in a lot better position. So I'm guessing that qualifying for you guys is just going to be a swing for the fences more or less.
Yeah, we don't have anything to lose, so go out there and run hard and see if it'll stick. And I'd rather see a Dickie aggressive and smoke the tires than us go out there and beat 3 or 4. You know what I mean? Or 4 or 5 or whatever, and not get any points. Because we don't have anything to lose at this point. We just got to be aggressive. And I think we kind of started the year off a little bit on the defense. We were running good, but then we didn't want to, step on our toes. And then finally Redding came around, and he was like, screw it, man. We're gonna go out here and run hard, and it's going to be what it's going to be. And you go from that defense to offense, and I think we got to be in offense mode right now. You have to just get after it, and at the end of the day, if it sticks, it sticks, and if it don't, it don't, So, been on both sides of it, won them, lost them, but I think the aggressive direction is definitely what we have to approach this next two races like.
Hey, Matt, how'd the Pennzoil bunch, that was a kind of a neat part of the deal, was you winning with the Pennzoil car at the Pennzoil race. You couldn't have planned that much better.
No, I know. I mean, I just very, very fortunate that we were able to, they only ran two schemes this year, and that was one of them. It was Houston and Dallas, and, to be able to pull a win off when you only have two shots at it with those guys is huge. I think, I gave my trophy to Chibo, one of the Pennzoil guys, the rep that's out there working in the trenches with us every day, and the feet, and he's a sounding board to go back there to those guys, and Rusty from Pennzoil, the head guy, man, he was texting me, and he was actually out with his daughter looking at some colleges and stuff. But I mean, they're pumped up. They're glad to be in the sport with the NHRA drag racing and Mela Yella and all the folks that are out here that are majors. But it's kind of new to them. They hadn't been here in a long time, so we got new faces that have not really seen drag racing before. They've been able to be around other motorsports and different things like that, but the folks that were doing it back in the day, they're not really there anymore. So we're having to reintroduce these folks to drag racing and letting them kind of get a new feel for it. So to be able to put them in the winner's circle and give them a Mela Yellow bath, and give them a trophy and a winner's circle jacket, it just doesn't get any better than that,
Matt, we were just showing a highlight for our streaming audience of you running 335 miles an hour, I believe, back at Topeka earlier this year. Funny cars are going faster all the time, especially over the last couple of years with the innovations, the headers, and that sort of thing. Is there a limit to what the funny cars can do, or does there need to be a point where things need to be reined back a little bit?
Honestly, I love to see them go as fast as they possibly can. Now, saying that, I know our tire is really not designed to go much over, 335 miles an hour. And I know that some of these facilities that we race at are not built to run. Back in the day, they were trying to run 200. Now we're running well over 300, and we still have some of the same stopping distance. And the chutes are hitting so hard nowadays. They're the cars are so heavy. They were tearing chutes, and so. I get it. I definitely, understand why they're trying to slow us down a little bit. It makes it a little bit more challenging as a driver. They're putting these rev limiters on us, so as soon as it hits the rev limiter, it's putting cylinders out down there, and you're looking at the wall a lot of times or the center line cone, and you're trying to make corrections out there and get it reeled in and then get your parachutes out still and get everything stopped. But, they're kind of out of options, trying to slow us down a little bit. And these crew chiefs, they just get smarter and smarter every day. I mean, you give one of these guys a Rubik's Cube, and they're going to figure out how to line all the colors up, man. And that's what they're paid to do, So I would love to see them go 350, but, and I'd love to drive one that fast. I probably have out the back door somewhere, but it's, it's one of those things where it's just not really feasible. I mean, some racetracks that, you could do it, but there's just a lot of them that we race at that, you just can. And like I said, I mean, I'm very, very fortunate. And it's all because of Dickie Venables and Mike Knutson and the boys wrenching on the car that we hold both ends of the world record, with ET and speed. But that 335, that's cooking in a funny car. And,
I guess,
that's faster than a lot of dragsters have run. And we're, just we're pushing those limits every day. So, I was just, like I said, you jump in the car and you put your mouthpiece in and you pull your helmet down and you're going to go for a ride, especially when those conditions are like they are. You're just like, hold on, let's see what we can do.
Well, Matt, congratulations on the win down at Dallas. Good luck this coming weekend over in Las Vegas, and congratulations on being a dad again.
Oh, thanks so much. I appreciate it, guys. It's always a pleasure to be on with you guys. Real quick, I'd just like to say thank you to the fans that are listening to your show, but also to the ones that support NHRA drag racing and the ones that support our sponsors like Pennzoil and Mopar and Rocky Boots and Freightliner and all the folks that do that. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, we can sit here and pat ourselves on the back, but unless they're out there supporting what we're doing, showing those sponsors the return on the investment, we can't do it without them. So big thank you to all the listeners and the folks that are out there supporting NHRA drag racing to make it be what it is today. So thanks again, and thank you guys for having me on the show.
Thanks Matt. Appreciate it. Matt Hagan, winner at Dallas and headed to Las Vegas, trying to make it 2 in a row. And when we return, we will wrap up another great edition of the show.
This is The Straight Line, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. More coming up right after this.
Whatever you drive, wherever you go, Hercules Tires will get you there, whether you're running on dirt or running a job. Our dependable, high-quality tires are the perfect fit for your needs. For unmatched value, selection, and warranty with industry-leading road hazard protection, there's only one choice: Hercules Tires. To learn more, visit HerculesTire.com or call 800-677-9535. Hercules Tires, right on our strength.
Ready to take the training wheels off your race scanner? Go to fanvision.com and upgrade your experience with FanVision. Not only will you be able to hear the race,
Dale Earnhardt Jr. gets a good run, drafting help from Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick. Jr. again pulls up alongside for the race lead.
you'll see every moment through live video, instant replays, live stats, and more.
Hi, I'm Jamie McMurray, driver of the #1 Cessna Chevrolet, and I never go to the track without my FanVision. So go to fanvision.com to rent or buy yours today.
Live sports are the one true reality entertainment, where a single dramatic moment can become timeless. In NASCAR, Motor Racing Network's live broadcast elevates your senses to the sights, sounds, and struggles taking place on the racetrack.
Keselowski to the bottom of the racetrack. He tries to slide up. Newman is there. Sideways is Keselowski.
The power of radio to the imagination of the listener. Tune in to the Motor Racing Network. Visit MRN.com for an affiliate list in your local area.
It's The Straight Line, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Now here's Marty Huff and Doug Herbert.
Big thanks to Matt Hagan for joining us here on The Straight Line. The Funny Cars Championship yet to be decided. A couple of championships that probably are going to be decided this weekend at Las Vegas. And Tron Brown, we can pretty much give him the title. I think all he has to do is qualify. But another one that's going to be in the same position is Ricky Smith in Pro Mod. How many times have we talked to him over the last couple of years that we've been doing this show? We usually have Ricky Smith on once a year, and I'm about to give it up. I'm gonna get the kid in here. Yeah, exactly. Come on, that's never gonna happen. He's gonna win another championship. It's just an amazing career for Ricky Smith.
Yeah, it really has. And I've been friends with Ricky, gosh, for 20-some years, and he's a neat guy. His son obviously very successful at the Pro Stock Motorcycle, Matt Smith. But Ricky, I don't know, with all of his IHRA championships that he has, with these Pro Mod championships, he's probably up. I bet he's up to 10 or so. He's got a lot of championships because I know he's got a modified or comp eliminator championships and then a bunch of Pro Stock championships. So yeah, what a neat deal. I was winning another one. We got to get him on the show again and see if we can talk to him a little bit.
Oh, sure. And because we know we're going to hear the same old broken record. It's probably time to hang it up. I'll let the kids get in here. And Pro Mod, this is not one of those 16 cars show up and it's just between those 16 cars. I mean, we're talking about 28, 30 car fields. And
about like the Nostalgia Funny Cars last weekend at Bakersfield. That Bakersfield championship, whatever they call it. I can't remember. They call Fuel and Gas is the March meet, but whatever they call it, this big nostalgia race this last weekend at Bakersfield. Wow, the Nostalgia Funny Cars, there was like, I don't know, there was 30-something of them. Yeah. It was incredible.
Yeah, and
Jason Rupert won, which was pretty neat for them. I was bummed my buddy Paul Romine didn't qualify. He got disqualified. His run got thrown out or something like that. I haven't talked to Romine. I'm sure he's long in the chin right about now.
But when you've got 30+ cars, I mean that is just cutthroat. And Pro Mod has been that all season long. And for Ricky Smith to basically have that wrapped up before the last race, and it's not official, but all he has to do basically is qualify, and he'll have that one. Breaks coming up. What do we got here?
We've got a lot of stuff. I know this weekend we've got breaks in Englishtown, New Jersey. So we're going to go up there with the New Jersey DOT and have some fun. Then we've got more things coming up in Knoxville, Tennessee. I can't think of where all else, but a bunch of them. So great stuff.
PutOnTheBrakes.org for more information. Thanks to everybody involved, including Matt Hagan for joining us. So for Doug, for Robbie, for Daryl, I'm Marty. We will talk to you next week right here on The Straight Line.
You've been listening to The Straight Line, presented by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Tune in again next Thursday at noon Eastern on MotorRacingNetwork.com and the MRN app. The Straight Line is the show for drag racing fans and is brought to you by Hercules Tires. This program is also available on demand at the MRN.com Media Center, or you can download it through iTunes or Stitcher. The Straight Line is a production of the Motor Racing Network. All rights reserved.